Hey, ISHTUers. What an episode we've got for you today. We're talking about cold calling. And before you all disconnect, don't be crazy. We're going to talk about the amount of business that us and our clients are closing out of cold calling. You're crazy if you're not cold. If you've got a prospecting part of your a dimension to your role, you got to get on that phone. It's enormous riches in that mine. And so we'll talk to you about, what good cold calling looks like. We'll talk to you about how you should think about cold calling. And we'll even demo some cold calls for you. So guys, enjoy the pod. Enjoy the episode. Straight from the heart of Miami, this is It Shouldn't Happen to Us. After 30 years of selling and training sales teams, we still screw it up sometimes. And this is where we tell you all about it, because it shouldn't happen to us. Hey, Sofia. Sofia and Carlos are here. We're in the house and we're ready to speak to our ISHTUers, our ISHTU viewers and listeners. Sofia, how have you been?
Just dandy, having my best year ever, having a summer rush, right?
Having our best year. I tell you what, we are having a bit of a summer rush. I've just got an email on a new client just now that you don't know anything about. Really, it's a regain client. Okay. So for our viewers and listeners, there are a bunch of different client types that we think about. We think about brand new clients as Attain clients. We think about existing clients as keep clients. We think about returning clients as regains. And we also think about expand clients, which are those clients that are ours, but we know that we should be cross-selling other products and services in there. And that's our quadrants, our care account planning model. That's a topic for another day. But in that
what are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to talk about one of those quadrants. We're going to talk about the Attain Quadrant and also the regain, I suppose. But we're talking today about cold prospecting. Dun, dun, dun. Cold prospecting.
Nobody likes it.
Nobody likes it. I tell you what, they don't like it till they get the commission checks. Then they love it, right?
That's right. So it feels so ice stone cold, far away from the commission check, and that's why we don't like it. I think, on top of the rejection, but ice cold calls. I can see why people don't like it because it feels very far away from the dollars. But hopefully, fast forward to the end of this episode, you walk away with a little inspiration.
Well, I bloody hope so. And let me tell you, somebody I hope gets inspired by this. Me. Because, it shouldn't happen. I was doing a client training this morning, and one of the ladies in the training, and if you're watching this, you know who I'm talking about. She has closed tons of business in her career, and she does it with cold walk-ins, right? Mm-hmm. I think Vicente, one of your clients, does a lot of cold walk-ins.
He does. Right? I did quite a few cold walk-ins in my day too.
Now, here's the question. You did a lot of cold walk-ins. Did you close a lot of business from those cold walk-ins?
I did.
It's bonkers, right? So Diane, my client, I said to her today, because we were talking about prospecting. I was doing a prospecting session with them, and we were talking about cold calls and cold walk-ins. And I got a flashback because I've been with this client for like 3, 4, 5 years. And I went, wait a minute, Diane, am I right in thinking you used to close a lot of business doing walk-ins? And she's like, yeah, Carlos, I love walk-ins. I said, what, you love them so much you don't do them anymore? And she got a little, I wasn't wanting to embarrass her. She's a lovely lady and she's really cool. But as human beings, don't we do this? Don't we find something that works and stop doing it? Me included. It shouldn't happen to us. We're supposed to know better, Sofia. But we find something that works and we instantly stop doing it. It's like bonkers.
Well, and that happens too when you get a nice honeypot client and now your checks are looking nice and you're feeling nice and comfortable and you set up camp with marshmallows and everything.
Oh, proper camp, right? And after a while, what does Matson always say? After a while, there's like, you've put in plumbing in this camp. There's like cold, warm water coming into the camp. You're building yourself a nice little camp there. Mm-hmm. It is bonkers how, and I was reminded while thinking about the episode today and about how we as human beings, we find something that works and we stop doing it. And I was reminded how much bloody business we used to close, I used to close from cold calling. Like our biggest account ever, referral from a cold call. And we did it. We got money. We made money. We got rich. We got fat. We got comfortable. And then and then we stopped doing it. It's insane. I have a client, and this client is cool. It's true blue collar stuff. They're sort of selling industrial products into industrial services and products into really dirty places, right? Real industrial plants. And they grow at like 40% per year. Now, if you're listening to this, you know what you do that for 3 or 4 years compounded and bonkers things start happening. So they're growing at like 40% per year. They are cool. Number one, they're a cool company. Number two, they're in a crowded market, but as a wise man once said, there's always room for premium, right? If you're sat listening or watching to us today and you think, we're in a crowded market, there's always room for premium. So this company is a cool company selling premium into a crowded market. And their superpower, those are cool guys, but their real superpower is accountability. Every rep on the team does 40 dials a day. Apart from those days, no, wait a minute, there's no those days, it's 40 dials a day. It's 40 dials a day, and they've got great pipelines. Now, they don't close everybody. There are some days go by, they don't even have a conversation with somebody. But that ain't the point. They're closing stacked. Tons of business. They've got great pipelines. They're feeling rock solid in the market, and they're selling industrial services into industry, and they're exclusively using cold call. Explain to me how that's happening these days, Sofia. Explain to me when everyone tells you cold calling's dead. Explain.
Well, I mean, if all of your competitors are blasting LinkedIn messages and emails, then I think in 2023, the ultimate pattern interrupt, which is for our listeners, for ISHTUers listening, a pattern interrupt is interrupting the pattern of what buyers expect from salespeople. The ultimate pattern interrupt is going to be a cold call, is going to be snail mail, is going to be a walk-in. This sales guy is literally walking into my office. Right. And I'm not talking about the sending an email. Did
I get in a time machine and go back 40 years? What the hell is this? Right.
I mean, it is I think that's why I would close business from cold walk-ins, because I'd turn up there in my perfect little Ann Taylor outfit, right? I had like 3 outfits that I'd have to like rotate every day. And I'd show up there in someone's office, perfect stranger. And I'm not talking about guys sending them the email of, showing up, I was in the area, no. But I think cold calling is a pattern interrupt.
And cold walk-in too.
And cold walk-ins too.
And there is nothing better than just being absolutely honest about why you're there. I would imagine you would walk in and say, hey, I'm from, who was it? Was it when you were with Univision, Telemundo, right?
Uh-huh.
You'd walk in and say, hey, you need us. You got to do some advertising, buddy. You got to get on my shows. You don't have to make some kind of elaborate story.
Well, since I was selling advertising, I'd walk in to every single business and I'd be like, oh my God, how long has this been here? And they'd be like, and it'd be like a very obvious like paddleboard store.
Yeah.
They'd be like, we've been here like 10 years. And I'm like, are you serious? I grew up in this neighborhood. I had no idea you guys were here. I just must be living under a rock. It would be all about advertising, because what percentage of the people living within a 5 to 10 mile radius of your business don't know that you're there?
Yeah.
But right. And I'd have fun with that. But I did get kicked out of that paddleboard store. And the owner, the general manager, he walked up to me and he was like, nope. And he said, nope, following me all the way out of the store.
Nope. Oh,
nope. Shoot. He might as well turn the hose on.
Yeah. That is brilliant. Turning the hose on. Get her out.
Turn the sprinklers on. Yeah, get her out of here.
But it's like those, the only reason he responded like that is because he wanted to buy. If you didn't want to buy, you're not a threat, right?
Yeah.
He looked at you and thought, danger. The only danger is because he wanted to buy. It's like the old sign that says no soliciting, could easily say, please don't come in, I buy everything. But it's the walk-in, the cold walk-in, the cold call. Its time has come again. 40. How many dials does Autumn do?
Autumn on my team, 100 a day. 100 a day.
And we
she
don't
does
even
100,
give her a
100
dialer,
of everything
right?
a day. She doesn't have a dialer. She does get contacts from Zoom Info, so she does get direct line. We pull a list of the right person. Sometimes not. Zoom Info isn't the end all be all. You got to learn how to work the filters, and sometimes you'll get a number that it's not the right number, but it doesn't stop her. She makes 100 touches a day, whether it be a call, a video email, an email, voicemail.
Hey, I tell you what as well. I tell you what's interesting. So I was talking to my client, as I was telling you this morning, we were talking about cold calling, and we were doing a training on cold calling. And by the way, you stick around to the end, and I'm going to demo a cold call for you. Sofia might do it for you as well. See if she remembers when she used to do those cold calls. You remember those, right?
See. Yeah, I think I can pull it from the archive.
Pull it, and we were talking about it, and we were talking about whether or not to leave a message on the voicemail. Now, there's a split decision on this, but I am very much in the camp of leave a message.
Me too.
And I had to have a right fight with this particular client about 3 months ago about leave a message. And what we've noticed is cold call with a little cadence, a little email as well, maybe a voice note, maybe a text or something that goes with it, maybe a LinkedIn request. But what they've noticed is when they leave a message, they've noticed that people will look at their LinkedIn profile and then often they'll pick up on the next call because it ain't about the first call. The first call, everybody does. Well, no, 50% of people don't make any of the calls. But the 50% that make the first call, everyone makes the first call. It's the second call and then the third call. That's when they're getting the pickups. That's when they're getting... And by the way, the conversion on those calls to an appointment, way higher because they've already had a look at your LinkedIn profile. They kind of know why you're calling. And the conversion to an appointment is great. So we had a fight. Do you leave a voicemail? I absolutely say you leave a voicemail now.
It shouldn't even be a fight.
It shouldn't, right?
I mean, what is the purpose of the prospecting call is to get a meeting.
You're not selling anything. Violet, what does Violet think?
Violet says leave a message.
Yeah, that Violet is Sofia's new cat. Violet says leave a message. Absolutely. It's not selling anything, which is, by the way, why you must never say, hey, Carlos here from Sandler Training. I want to talk to you about this, that, and the
bringing
other.
value to your company. I want to learn more about your company. No, you don't.
No, you don't. It's a lie. What do you leave the message? You say, hey, George, Carlos here. I was hoping we'd connect today. I'll probably try you again in a couple of days. I'm from Sandler Training. That's it. Carlos Garrido, Sandler Training. Let them look you up. Don't try and sell them anything. Don't try and sell them anything on a voicemail. I mean, it's hard enough to say. It's impossible. Can't sell anybody anything on a voicemail. So what does let's do some technique for the team because I know we've promised to do some technique. We will do some technique. But this client of mine, 40 dials a day in a cadence with like a couple of emails sprinkled in, with a couple of LinkedIn actions sprinkled in. Maybe a couple of text, video text messages sprinkled in, little sprinkling, light dusting. And they'll work a number or a list of numbers for a couple of weeks. Then they'll put that list on ice. It gets pulled out again in three months' time. And they'll work a new list. And they are booking meetings every day. I'm reminded of, do you remember Mark, Salmon Mark?
Yeah, Salmon Mark.
Salmon Mark, 120 dials a day. That's probably the most I've seen. And that's without the aid of a dialer. 120 dials a day. And that guy used to shift about $12 million a year of salmon, personally.
Well, listen, ISHTUers that are listening to this, I don't want you to be hearing this and say, damn, I make 10 dials a day. I don't want you hearing these numbers like 100, 120, feeling bad about yourself. But the reason why cold calling is so fruitful is because it's the only exercise that you sit at your desk and you can do that volume. And it has to be hyper-personalized because you are calling somebody. You can't mass cold call a contact list of 100 people. So it's hyper-personalized. It's a pattern interrupt, and you can bang out 100 at your desk. versus door knocking. Well, that's a little more time consuming. I'm a big fan of the cold call.
I'm a huge fan, and we've closed tons of business from it, and we've closed that much business that we stopped doing it because we're idiots. Well, now we've hired somebody to do it for us, which is cool, and Autumn's doing great work. Autumn, if you're listening
amazing.
to this, we love you lots, like Jelly Tots. You absolutely are knocking it out of the park. We're getting tons of appointments. She's booking 2-3. I think she said today she's booked 20 appointments. Since she started, which was, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And that'll be 20 a month soon. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think I'm not going to say his full name, but I don't know. There's someone in our network that said that you and Antonio asked him to make cold calls for you guys in our market, which is Miami. For those ISHTUers, we're located in Miami.
I know who you're talking
about. Miami
yeah.
is a tough. I'm sure everyone says their market is a tough market, but he said that he's someone that usually every 20 calls gets an appointment. He said he got no appointments. Autumn rhymes with hero, right?
Yeah.
So Autumn, you're dangerous. You're dangerous.
So, anatomy of a cold call. By the way, guys, you're about to get some magic dropped on you. So if you've not liked and subscribed, I don't think you've done your part of the bargain here. Sofia and I are going to give you the anatomy of a cold call, which for those of you who choose, it's like Mission Impossible, right? Mr. Hunt, if you choose your mission, should you choose to accept it? For those of you who choose to accept the mission, this is gold. This is putting $1 million in your bank. For the price of what? A like and a subscribe? Don't be insane. Like and subscribe. Come on. So, anatomy of a cold call. I'll give you the anatomy. Sofia will demo it, then I'll demo one, and then we'll get out of your hair. So, anatomy. Pattern interrupt. Don't be doing that. Hey, how are you today? I'm going to teach you we're going to show you how to open up a proper cold call. Then we go little expectation setting. Tiny little contracts. Then we're going to do a commercial, tiny little commercial, and I'll do, I don't know, tell me what I'm selling. I won't sell Sandler, I'll sell something else. Tell me what I'm selling.
Coffee machine maintenance.
Coffee machine maintenance. Beautiful, I'll do that. Coffee. And by the way, ISHTUers, stick comments or send us an email. We'll do we'll give you some 30-second commercials for your industries. Tell us what industries you want to hear, and we'll do it. But let's do coffee machine maintenance, and then a hook, and then I'll show you how to close for an appointment. We'll do it real quick. We'll rattle. Shall I go first, or do you want to go first?
You go first.
I'll go first. Ring, ring, Sofia here. You answer. Ring, ring.
Hi, this is Sofia.
Hey, Sofia. I'm not even sure you're the right person to speak to. Can I take a second, tell you why I called? If you're not the right guy, I'll get out of your hair. If you are, hey, we can talk for a couple of minutes. Fair?
Yeah, fair.
Hey, thanks for that. So I'm with ABC Coffee Maintenance, and a lot of our clients are telling us that they've got some, cool coffee equipment, but they're having trouble getting maintenance out there, and the machines aren't working as well as they used to. It seems to be costing them a lot of money in consumables, cups and grinds. I mean, I don't know, making this up. I see the costs are going up, the quality's going down, and they're not really getting much response from their from the maintenance department and the guys that sold them the machine. If that resonates with you, hey, listen, we can talk for a minute or two more. If not, no harm, no foul. I'll get out of your hair.
Okay, yeah, the maintenance could be a little better.
Give me an example. And we're off to the races.
That's it.
I'm going to get one example. If I feel like there's a little emotion in there, I'm going to go for an appointment. I'm going to say, Sofia, is this important enough to invite me over? Have a look. Put my eyes on your machine. If Sofia says, that'd be great, then I'm going to post-sell the appointment. And which is, by the way, that's when I reaffirm, are you sure this is important enough? Are you going to be there tomorrow when I call in? I'm going to post-sell it. Now, I've got a story to tell you on that in a second. But it's that easy. Nice little pattern interrupt. I don't know if you're the right guy to speak to. Beautiful little, agenda setting, expectation setting. When I say, hey, I'm going to tell you why I called. If you're not the right guy, I'll get out of your hair. If you are, we'll talk for a minute or two more. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to give you my 30-second commercial. Hey, people are talking to me about this problem and that problem. Any of that resonate in your world? You say yes. I'm going to say, give me an example. You're going to tell me an example. I'm going to say, is it important enough to invite me over? And we're getting an appointment. Now, let me tell you something amazing. I saw a video of an AI bot making a cold call. Now, was it perfect? No. I could have. I think if they learned our process, that AI bot would do loads more business. But it was amazing. It sounded like a person. It didn't have the full inflection of a person yet, but it sounded real enough. And then this was the really clever bit at the end. Now it was a mock-up because it was a video, so it was a mock-up. But at the end they said, hey, so we're going to have a meeting tomorrow. The guy said, yeah. And the computer post-sold it. The computer said, are you sure, 100% sure that you're going to be able to make that time? I was like, wait a minute. The computer's doing what stuff that we have trouble getting our clients to do, our human clients to do. So it ain't going to be long before the computer's doing all of this. Have we got time for you to do a demo?
Yeah.
Have a go? What are you selling?
Sure.
What are you selling?
Coffee machine maintenance.
Coffee machine maintenance. I'm the head maintenance of a company. Ring, ring. Carlos here.
Carlos, Sofia Rodriguez.
Sofia.
No. I imagine my name is completely meaningless to you.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. Carlos, let me tell you why I'm giving you a shout, and then you can decide whether it makes sense to keep talking or I'll get out of your hair forever. Fair?
Fair.
Carlos, I work with ABC Coffee Maintenance. I don't even know if it makes sense to have a conversation. Companies that I'm talking to are telling me that they're happy with their coffee machine and the maintenance, but they're not stoked about the brands. Oftentimes, they feel like they're out of stock of their favorite brands, and that we all know the impact the cup of coffee can have on our day. If it's not that, it's that the sales rep that was once razzle dazzle wonderful has gone a little dark on them now that they're no longer a prospect or a new client. And the last thing they'll share with us is that the maintenance, there's always a filter that needs to be changed. And the AC, the printer, and the coffee machine and the elevator. If any of those things aren't working, the office space is off balance. I don't want to assume to know your world, Carlos. You're probably not dealing with any of those things, are you?
Well, sometimes, our rep isn't as responsive as he used to be.
Oh, really? Tell me about that.
And we're off to the races. We've now got a conversation. First time ever. We got a first time ever conversation that turns into an appointment, that turns into a pipeline opportunity. And here's the key. Not all of them do. Not all of them do. In fact, I'm gonna say, let me give you some, it depends on your industry. But if for every 20 dials you're making, you get in a couple of conversations, I think you're doing pretty well. And for every 10 conversations you're having, if you're getting maybe 4 appointments from it, 3 or 4, doing pretty well. And for every 3 or 4 appointments, you're getting 2 or 3 show up, like complete, you're doing pretty well. Yeah. And you do that at scale, you do that math. From 40, 50 dials a day, you do that math, amazing things happen. Do the math from 50 dials a day, number of conversations, number of appointments, apply your close rate, average deal size, then apply your average commission, and you'll find that you can create with the right activity, amazing results. So, Sofia.
So, Carlos.
What do you think? Should we switch up our calling activity? Have I inspired us to maybe either you and I start doing a little bit more, or why don't we get Autumn somebody to help her out? Why don't we get more? There's so much business out there.
Cold calling is back. There's certain things from the past that shouldn't ever come back, like low-rise jeans.
Yeah,
but cold calling is back, and I'm giving it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up for cold calling. Guys, if you're not doing it, you should do it. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy who's decided already it doesn't work before they've even given it a go. And by the way, if you decide you're going to give it a go, if you choose to accept this mission, you got to set your number, whatever it is, $20 a day, and then you got to do it for 90 days. You can't call it after 3. Oh, I didn't have any conversations after 3 days. That's like me walking out of the gym first time in there for 6 months, looking at the scale and going, well, that doesn't work. Of course it doesn't work after 1, 2, 3 days. Got to call it after 90
If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
There you go. Beautiful way to exit. Sofia, Great to speak to you today. Hey, ISHTUers, get out and sell. It's goodbye from Sofia.
And it's goodbye from Carlos.